Good evening, channel members, friends, and followers from around the world. Welcome to another Q8 pilot stream, and this evening we are going to be taking a look at Aerosoft Airport Düsseldorf in Germany. And for this flight, I've picked the iniBuilds A350 based on popular demand, and we are going to be taking a look at the iniBuilds, the latest update of the aircraft as well. I'm going to be sharing my thoughts with you as well on the latest status of Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 and the iniBuilds, having also listened to many accounts of real-world A350 pilots on this aircraft and the status of the sim. So, without further ado, let me begin by welcoming each one of you guys here in chat. Jesse, welcome. Glad to have you here. And we have the Gigliotti. Thank you guys very much for the support. Dougal Mektevish, welcome, my friend. Thank you very much for the support and for being here this evening. Flybright from the United States. Thomas13, welcome aboard. Mark, welcome. Glad to have you here. I'm very glad that you enjoyed the channel content. Hello, Air Kerpris001. From Cyprus, welcome aboard. Hello, HD Sim, welcome aboard. Andre Suzuki, welcome aboard. And we have also Alex with us. Thank you very much, Alex, for your outstanding support to the channel. And TC Ryan, welcome from San Diego. Welcome, guys. All right, so what we're going to be doing is, first, as we normally do, we're going to take a look at the flight brief for our flight today from Zurich, runway 28 departure through the Digi-1 Yankee. Said, we are going to be cruising at 34,000 feet and finally arrive into Düsseldorf, Germany, runway 23 left through the Domo 1 Alpha arrival. Looking at our flight plan here real quick from SimBrief, you can see 34,000. We're going to be carrying 12,574 kilos of fuel this evening, and 216 passengers. So, without further ado, let's get into the cockpit and get things ready for our flight. I've already removed the covers, and we can start with the external power and the battery switches. External power is on, and we're going to go ahead and turn on the battery switches on. Cruise supply on, ground control on, and EDDLs 1, 2, and 3 are all on. We're going to put the strobe lights are already on auto, and the nav lights seem to be on number 1, indicating first the captain is the pilot in command for the flight. We're going to arm the emergency lights and turn on the mobile, no smoking, and fasten seatbelt signs or on auto, and turn on the fuel pumps. And next we're going to go to the electronic flight bag. Here the aircraft systems are coming to life, and let's go to the electronic flight bag. Okay, perfect. So let me zoom in here real quick. We're going to go to the flight ops flight plan, and no, before we do that, I haven't flown this aircraft in quite some time now. I kind of forgot what needs to be done. Operation flight plan. So where do we get this now? From SimBrief. Is it flight? Yeah, there we go. So let's do an import from SimBrief, and now we have the data. We are Swiss Air 1080 today. This is a real-world flight, but it is flown on the A320, not the A350. But we're just going to fly the... all right, so why is it not populating the information here? Let's see. All right, well, let's go to the load sheet. We're going to import that from SimBrief as well. And we're going to set the zero fuel weight, and we're going to set the fuel for the flight, and we have all the information set up here. Takeoff performance will set up in a second there after we load our flight plan. Okay, so next thing is we're going to move here to the overhead panel, and we're going to perform a few tests, and we're going to do the fire test here. And everything here checks okay. Excellent. And next we can start programming the MCDU. Okay, perfect. So let us zoom in here. And let's see. We're going to go to active. We're going to go to init. And then we're going to do a company flight plan request. Requesting flight plan pending. Hopefully with no issues today. And we're going to say insert. And that inserts all the information with our cruise altitude, the cruise temperature, cost index. So everything there is set up perfectly for our flight there. And next we're going to go to the departure. We're going to select our runways for the departure. So I'm going to bring up Navigraph charts. And we're going to take a look here. We are departing runway 28. So this is runway 28. And the SID is the Diggy 1 Yankee. So the Diggy 1 Yankee is selected. There is no transition. And we're going to insert that into the flight plan. And next we're going to go to Düsseldorf, our arrival airport today. And by the way, a very, very nice rendition of the airport by Aerosoft. The guys over at Aerosoft has provided the airport courtesy to the Q8 pilot channel, so I do want to thank the team there very much for that. 23 left is the arrival runway. The approach is the Doma 1 Alpha. The ILS 23 left via. Let's see if there is a via. Let's take a look here. We're going to go to the approach, and it's the 23 left. Let's take a look. Do we have a via here? We can check and see that we have DUS. There, we do have DUS. And then we have the METMA. Let's see here. Let me see if we have another. Let me zoom out there a little bit. There we go. And now we can use the. Oh, that's the last one there. So we can use DUS, which is located right here. So we're going to select that. All right, and the star is the Duma 1 Alpha, which is this one here. I was going to use say intentions today and take a look at the the traffic generation. But I figured we'll leave this for another flight where we focus on that. And now we can say temporary flight plan and insert. And now we have our flight plan entered into the MCDU. We're going to make sure there are no discontinuities, which I can't see any. So we're looking good there in terms of the our flight plan. We're going to go back to the init page. Now we have fuel and load. And if we go to the 0 fuel weight, and we can just use enter. And for the 0 fuel CG, we're going to say, all right, we're going to say enter as well. Block fuel, enter. Passenger is 216. All right, 216. And enter that. Perfect. So we have all the information entered into the MCDU, and next we can do now the perf data. So before we do that, we're going to come over here and we're going to start the APU. So APU master is on and start, and apparently the fact that the APU button starts immediately after the master switch is turned on is accurate and is true to life on the real aircraft. So this is accurate what iniBuilds has done here. And next we can go now to return. And now we can go to takeoff performance. Perfect. So we're going to come here to takeoff performance. And we're going to say sync FMS. And this is going to sync all the information. And we're going to sync the weather as well. So we have everything set up here. And we're going to say compute. And now we have our speeds. We'll send those speeds to the FMS. And now we can see that we have the speeds here, 130, 134, and 142. We're going to confirm these. We have flaps 1, and the THS is 25.6. All right, so we'll worry about that a little later. I think we can do it now. Let me see here. All right, we'll worry about that in just a second here, once our hydraulics are working. Right, let's go to climb and cruise. Let's see, let's go to cruise. And what do we want here? Descend. All right, let's go back to takeoff. And we can select the... let's go back to the init page. I just want to make sure that... All right, so company wind request. So let's request that. I hope it doesn't mess things up. And we're going to say insert. And hopefully we have everything still in our flight plan. So let me just come here real quick and see the flight plan. Yeah, it looks like we have everything, but we have also the winds for the flight, which is cool. Okay. A truly international chat today. Yeah, I love that. I love the interaction with all of you guys. And greetings from the Netherlands from Alex. Welcome, my friend. And we have Patrick from Norway. Welcome aboard, my friend. Okay, so we have everything set up here. We have the flight plan entered. We have all the performance data. Let's go to system. So here, serve. And let's see, what do we have? Looks like we have alignment here with a funny looking departure from Switzerland. And let's see, what do we want here? We want to set this on auto. Okay, perfect. And everything else here is already set up, so we don't really need to fiddle around with it. And we're good here, so let's go ahead and start the APU bleed. APU bleed is on, and we can now turn off the external power. And we can come over here and remove the chocks. Let's make sure first that the parking brake is set, which it is. And next we're going to come here and we are going to remove the, let's see, flight ops plan. Where do we find this? Let's see here. Flight ops load sheet, ground. Okay, so we have the chocks and we have the GPU still connected. So we're going to remove the chocks and we're going to remove the GPU, as we are now supplying electrical power to the aircraft from within the APU. Right, so we can zoom out or zoom in. Airport map is loading. So we'll wait for the airport map to load. Takes a little bit of time. All right, we have the airport map. We are departing runway 28 left, which is right over there. So we can zoom further down there. That's us. So we're going to take taxiway Charlie 1 for runway 28 here at Zurich. All right, perfect. So everything's set up here. We're going to set the... Let me see here. All right, so the altimeter is set 1002, and let's set the clear shield now for the flight. We're going to make sure constraint is selected so we can see the constraints, and we're going to set the altitude to our final cruise altitude, which is 34,000 feet. 34,000 feet is now set, and we're going to make sure constraints is set here as well, and now we can have all our restrictions there on the plan. Let's put this back on the flight plan, FMS1, and we're going to select the flight plan. Perfect. And everything is now ready for us to push and start the aircrafts and be on our way to Düsseldorf. Hey there, Carl. Welcome, my friend. Glad to have you here. Literal Games, welcome. Glad to have you here with us. The departure looks odd. It does look very, very odd, yeah. So it looks like, you know, it's going to go like this, like that. It's just doing some funny things. So anyway, that's all right. I think we are good to go here. So we are going to request push and start. And if we look at our position here, so this is runway 28 right over there. So we're going to push the nose to the right, tail to the left. And let's go ahead and go to GSX. And we're going to request push and start. We're going to use Denata. There we go. We are at position Echo 20. And we can see some funny looking trees there in the background. Well, so on the status of Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, in my opinion and based on my experience, it is still somewhat and sometimes unstable. Yeah. Sometimes it works really, really well. Sometimes it's not so well. I do have a huge issue with loading airports where it just kind of sits there on the, after you hit fly now, it just kind of sits there and loads, and then I go back and load the airport again, and then it loads. So yeah, it hasn't really, after Sim Update 1, the Sim isn't really still, facing a lot of issues and still somewhat unstable. For the most part, it's okay. I haven't had really major issues, but I haven't really flown in 2024 that much. So, yeah. All right. So we are good here. Ready for push and start. Very nice texturing on the aircraft, both inside and out. Definitely, iniBuilds has done a very good job with modeling the aircraft. Very nice looking engines. Okay, nose right.
Release parking brakes.
All right, and let's go ahead and release the parking brakes.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
All right, and we have clearance to start our engines, so we are going to go to the engine mode selector here and go to ignition start, and we're going to start engine number 1 first. There we go. And we can hear the safety announcement being played back to the passengers as we push out of our position. Did we forget the beacon light? We sure did. So, I've been listening very carefully to a lot of accounts of real-world pilots on the A350 from iniBuilds lately. Those engine sounds are really nice, aren't they? And we'll talk a little bit about that once we're airborne. All right, so there we go, and actually, there we go. All right, so that's 2.8 right there. And we're good. All right, 25.5 is already set for us. Let's go ahead and start engine number 2. And yeah, we'll just go straight, and we'll actually take Charlie. We'll take Charlie 1 or Charlie 2 and just go over to runway 28 for departure.
Please set parking brakes.
Hello there, Rand. Welcome, my friend. Glad to have you with us this evening. Welcome. Parking brake is set.
Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
All right, let's go ahead and confirm engine start. Confirming engine start.
We have a good engine start.
We're good to go.
You can disconnect.
Unlocking gear.
All right, unlocking gear. Perfect. Very nice looking aircraft. And this airport, by the way, is one of the default airports in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. So with the Deluxe Premium, you get a number of handcrafted airports. This is one of them.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
All right, left and right is clear. Hand signal is received, and we are good. Excellent. Excellent. So we can come now down here, and we're going to arm the auto brake. So auto brake is set to RTO. We're going to set flaps 1 for departure. Very nice sounds. There we go. Very nice sounds, and they are very accurate, I have to say. Cabin is ready. Okay, and we're going to arm the spoilers here. And the takeoff config test is, we'll just press and hold, and we'll just wait for the cabin ready to be green, and then we're good to go. Let's turn on the nose light to taxi, and we're good to go. We can turn off the APU bleed, APU master, and the engine start switch to normal, and we're good to go. Let's go ahead and come here to let's see, squawk. We can actually come over here to the, no, we'll go back to here, and we'll set this to TARA. Perfect. And let's go back to the flight plan, FMS1 active flight plan. All right, well, just so that we don't forget it, and we're good to go. Okay, parking brake released, and off we go. Very nice looking aircraft. The modeling is truly exquisite on the A350 by iniBuilds. The movement of the aircraft on the ground is a bit strange. So the overall physics, I think, still need a lot of work. And this may not be something that is indigenous to the aircraft, but it might be Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 for the most part, because I've noticed that a lot of the aircraft fly in exactly the same way in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. So let's do call here. Right, we are actually good to go. Yeah, you can see again the trees there looking real funny. The overall experience with the A350 is a bit jittery. Okay, let's go ahead and turn on the landing lights. Nose light to takeoff. Strobe lights are on. And cabin crew seats for takeoff. Alright, we're going to start our clock as well as we approach the runway. Very nice wing flex there. And we're clear for takeoff. Runway 28 at Zurich. All right, we're lined up for takeoff. Beautiful day here in Zurich. Right, 50%. Engines are stable. Manflex 37, SRS, and runway. Very twitchy on the ground.
V1.
Rotate. And positive rate, gears going up. Right, and we're going to set the thrust climb is set. Very lovely departure. And autopilot 1 is engaged. Bit of a funny departure there. Right, and then we can see the textures there. Loading doesn't look really that great, I have to say. Looks really funny. And that is the case with Microsoft Flame. Sometimes in some regions look absolutely gorgeous and some regions look just terrible. And to me, this loading stuff, this loading business is an immersion breaker. But yeah. All right. I think we can go ahead and retract the flaps. So let's go ahead and do that. Flaps retracted. And barrows standard. Perfect. Very, very nice clouds, though. Can you stream the new Airfly A350? Airfly? I don't know. I'll think about it. Do you think Tolos A330 worth a buy? Absolutely. And I will second that statement by Alex, that any Tolos is worth the money. I was thinking of buying the X-Craft Embraer 145. I recommend that you go for the E190 series, the Egypt series from X-Craft. Look at those clouds, guys. Wow, they look absolutely gorgeous. And when things load, they do look nice in Microsoft Flight Sim without a doubt, but those clouds are just phenomenal. Look at that. Wow. So, I remember that when I did my first look at the iniBuilds A350, I criticized a little bit the flight model and some of the issues that the aircraft had. So it had a lot of different issues. And of course, when I give my perspective, guys, I am giving the perspective of a flight simmer. Maybe I'm an experienced flight simmer, I would say. But without a doubt, my perspective is very much different than that of a real-world pilot taking a look at the aircraft features, the FMA, and what the aircraft, feels like and sounds like. And so I try to, when I do my first look on any aircraft, I try not to watch anyone else because I think that can influence my my objectivity, and then I cannot really provide you with my own experience with the aircraft. I've had a lot of very good things to say about the aircraft, but then I started listening to real-world pilots, and the feedback that they gave was pretty much in line with what I've experienced, especially when it comes to the flight model, some of the issues. I know the aircraft still suffers from WASM issues as well. So that is not entirely fixed, though many of the things have been fixed. There are still a lot of things to iron out in this aircraft. Now, I've listened to an account by Real World Pilot And I've also listened to somebody who I really value his opinion, which is Into the Blue Simulations. This guy is a real-world Airbus pilot. He's got actual time on the A350, so he is more than qualified to to provide an objective and a professional stance on this add-on for Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. And in a nutshell, what he said was that the modeling is certainly very nice. The sound department is not so good. It is okay, but not great. But what he said, comparing the iniBuilds A350 to the Phoenix, for example, he said that the Phoenix provide him with a training aid. It's an aircraft that he can use as a training aid, but he cannot say the same about this aircraft. Certainly, the aircraft does not live up to the standards of an add-on that cost as much, and there are a lot of things that are missing or not working exactly as they should when compared to its real-world counterpart. So basically, now when, of course, a real-world pilot gives you his perspective, it has a lot of weight to it. When I give my perspective, it does have weight for those who trust what Q8 says. But then I've had a lot of people putting in some really bad comments there, and it's like, are you certified pilot? Just stick to what you know about GA aircraft, and don't review big aircraft, and you don't know nothing about them. In fact, one of the there was a long-time follower of the channel who came and put a comment like, I used to have a lot of respect for you, Q8, but after your review of the iniBuilds and saying that its flight model is not accurate, I'm unsubscribing from your channel, and your channel is overrated anyway. So I just I just smiled and I laughed. So I mean, what can I say? So I get it. People are, they get vested in the sim that they like. They get really irritated when they like something and you come and criticize it. And of course, maybe some of them are, big iniBuilds fans. I really don't know. But what I'm accustomed to, guys, and over the past 10 years of making content, is being true to this community. And I will say it exactly as I experience it. I don't like to sugarcoat anything. I try as much as possible to also be very balanced in what I report to you guys. So there are sometimes things in the background that you guys probably don't know about, such as my interaction with a certain developer. But I don't let that get in the way. If the add-on delivers and if the customer service is good, then I don't let that get in the way. It's not always easy because, again, I'm a human being and I will be affected. But I try as much as possible to remain objective. And what I do like about my approach is that the fact that I actually do not listen to anyone before I give my own, review, is that when I go afterwards and listen to some of the real, world pilots, and I see that a lot of the feedback that they give, of course, it is more in-depth, it is more technical than mine, but it's pretty much, it hits on all the points that I have found faults with. And that gives me a lot of confidence that as a flight simmer, I can still provide a very objective review and something that you guys can rely on before you spend your hard-earned cash, going and buying those add-ons. So that said, let's focus now on the flight. And in my view, the iniBuilds aircrafts, the A350 is not a bad add-on. It's a really good add-on, but it really suffers in a lot of areas, and performance is one of them, by the way. So this aircraft is very, very heavy on the frames. Another thing, you always stay like 15 minutes in the panel screen, like upper inside the plane. For me, a lot of time. stay like 15 minutes in the panel screen. I don't get that. I'm sorry. And don't listen to those haters. Objectivity is what we need. There's so many other streamers that are so biased, and it gets annoying. I agree with you there, Jesse. Yeah, I do agree with you. Thank you very much there, PJ. Appreciate it, my friend. Just a question, how do you determine what feels right and realistic when you've never flown the aircraft in real life? What do you base that on? Well, first of all, you can base that on, you have to watch a lot of videos, okay? So you have to watch videos of the real aircraft, and you look at certain behaviors. You can very quickly determine whether the aircraft flies like the real thing or not. One of the things in the iniBuilds, and the other thing that I do is I bring up the iniBuilds and then I bring up the Cessna 172 and I fly both, and they fly pretty much the same thing. You don't feel the heaviness, you don't feel the large wingspan, definitely the stall behavior. When does the aircraft start stalling? A lot of that will give you an indication. I'm not a real-world A350 pilot, so yes, I cannot say that it is 100% accurate or 100% inaccurate, but I can build some reference points based on what I visually see, and then of course you can substantiate that by listening to real-world pilots and what they say about the aircraft, and come and try to simulate that in the sim and see if it actually adds up. So you can build a lot of inferences, and you can definitely evaluate the add-on based on real-world knowledge of the aircraft. So yeah, I mean, system-wise, I'll leave that for the real-world pilots to come and tell us, whether it's, accurately simulates, the real aircraft or not. But to an extent, I can provide you with a perspective that I think is sufficient for you to make a decision whether you want to make an investment in an aircraft like this. And for most of us flight simmers, a lot of the things that the real world pilots have pointed out don't really make that much of a difference, because we just want to fly the aircraft. We want to see the A350 cockpit, you want to see the A380 cockpit, and we don't really care too much about whether certain feature is missing. We wouldn't even know if a certain feature is missing or a certain feature is not working exactly as it should. But what I do not like is when this aircraft came out, a lot of the content creators came out and say this is the best flying plane, and this is the best thing ever, and the best flight sim add-on ever made, and all of that stuff, which did not really hold up after real-world pilots have put their hands on it and started really evaluating it, putting it to the test. Certainly its price range is very high, and I personally expect the highest fidelity when paying such a premium price. Sorry, in the loading screen. So I spend time in the loading screen. I don't think I do that. In fact, I always ignore the loading screen, and I always load the sim in the in a ready state to go. I really sorry, I'm not following Luca what you're referring to. But if I may add, you are blaming the plane or the platform on which the plane is being executed. Well, I'm blaming both. So a lot of the issues, I think, is to do with Microsoft Flight Sim, to be completely fair to iniBuilds. But there are a lot of things that are also, I think, characteristics of the aircraft itself that is just don't add up. But yeah, the physics, for example, we know that there's a serious issue with the MSFS 2024 physics, especially ground physics. So yeah, a lot of it has to do with the sim itself and not the aircraft. But all the real world pilots that have evaluated this aircraft has said that something about the flight model, that it's not accurate, and the performance numbers as well are not accurate. So the takeoff performance are not true to life. I think the ones that overpraise the plane are actually sponsored by India, probably. But just as your opinion, some of us it was of high quality, so this is more of your opinion against others' opinion, because I'm sure you might recommend a plane to be top quality for. And well, look, I never said that this is a bad aircraft. I never said that this is a bad add-on. I think it's a really good add-on. For me, it satisfies me as a flight simmer. The flight model is definitely something that is broken, and it's probably broken for almost all aircraft in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. And it's also still full of bugs. So very unstable aircraft, considering its price, considering how long it's been since the release, and it's still got some bugs. So this is, to me, not acceptable. Will I recommend this aircraft? I will give this aircraft a 6.5, maximum a 7 out of 10. So, will I recommend it? Yeah, if you like the A350, I think this is a nice aircraft to have. But with the caveat that you might encounter issues, stability issues, CTDs, and things like that, without a doubt. So, yeah. It's my opinion against others. Yes, it's for sure. You are absolutely right again. But if you look at the majority of the folks that have reviewed this who are not sponsored by iniBuilds, they've had at least a couple of major items to bring up and criticize about the aircraft. And of course, it's my opinion, and there are other opinions, and it's up to you guys to decide which one of these opinions you agree with. And there's no pressure. I mean, iniBuilds is a good company, and they develop good aircraft, good add-ons. So, yeah, it's sometimes I like to just purchase an aircraft to help the developers. Those clouds are just really fantastic. I love the wing flaps and how the engine shakes like that, just like you see it in real life. Very, very nice clouds, though. Yeah. Right, this is the top of climb, and it lands like a Cessna. There is something... Yeah, that's true. Kuwait is the flight model bearable. I have heard the takeoff roll is... yes, the takeoff roll is not bad. The landing is something that's just really not right. It just doesn't feel right, especially when on final approach. And if there is any, the slightest of weather, like crosswind, then it becomes really a nightmare to hand fly this aircraft. So not a nice aircraft to hand fly, that's for sure. All right, we are going to go back to the MCDU. And we are going to enter the arrival information. So let's come here to perf and go to the approach. All right, and we're going to bring up SimBrief, again, our SimBrief flight plan from Navigraph charts. And we are going to enter the arrival information. So the winds over at Düsseldorf, let me make this smaller here, and we can have everything on one screen. So 179. So let's see here. 17. I forgot we have to use this here. Okay, 170. And then 9. And the outside temperature is, what is the outside temperature? Is currently 15 Celsius. And the QNH is 999. And we enter that. Then we're going to go to our flight approach plate, and for runway 23 left, and we're going to say, all right, so we have, we can put the radio. All right, we'll come here and we'll enter 93 and enter that, and that's it. Everything is set up. And we are good. We are currently at cruise, and the top of descent is in 140 nautical miles. Right, everything's configured. We're good here. And let's go ahead and switch to external view a little bit here and enjoy the scenery in MSFS. Very nice custom views there with the iniBuilds. I think this side is nicer because of the really nice clouds. The clouds are really nice in MSFS, I have to say. What makes you choose to set the radio instead of the barrel reference? Quite frankly, I don't know what the difference is. Maybe Carl can help us. But yeah, I think you can choose either one. I also have bugs. My speed on the PFD doesn't go up the yellow speed tape for both 900 and 1000 since the last update. Oh, really? I haven't really taken notice of that. With the A350 iniBuilds in MS24, when I went to taxi or takeoff, the brakes, I haven't had any problems with that, no. The game changer will be with all toolless aircraft for me, the ability to save scenarios. I believe you can save this one as well in this iniBuilds. I think there's an autosave feature. Alright, so Aero Kill FR. I have $90. What I should buy between the Flight Factor 777 version 2 and the toolless A330? Wow, that's a tough question, because it really, first of all, it's going to depend a lot on whether you are an Airbus or a Boeing guy. I am a Boeing guy all the way, so I will definitely pick the 777. Now, if you're looking for fidelity, the 777 will give you a lot more in-depth simulation of the 777. So, in my view, it is more advanced than the toolless A330 in terms of the simulated systems. But if you're an Airbus guy, the A330 will definitely meet your expectations. So, plus the last long winglet was more realistic. Yeah, this one is kind of weird. You know what is weird is this little cut here. It looks a little bit funny. I agree. It's deeper system-wise, yes. The 777, without a doubt, is much deeper. If it ain't Boeing, I ain't going. That's for sure. Yeah, Dougal, I know you're an Airbus guy. You love Airbus. Yeah, I'm an Airbus guy all the way, but I really do want to buy the 777 version 2. I'm happy with my 3 toolless aircraft, and the A330-900 isn't one of them. I see. You won't regret it. No, you won't. No, you won't. The 777, in fact, is one of the most advanced simulations of an aircraft built for flight sim, only second to the Hot Start 650. I think it is one of the best aircraft really created, and by the way, it's still kind of in beta, but it is just a phenomenal aircraft. Why is this sim so jittery today? Maybe I need to lower my settings a little bit. But yeah, with the let me see here. If I go to my settings, maybe we'll just bring this down to 200. Maybe that'll help a little bit. I've had no problems with all the other aircraft, including the Phoenix, but somehow with this aircraft, maybe maybe that's better. Yeah, it's slightly better, I think. If we take a look here at the frames. What are we getting in terms? 107 frames, 110 FPS. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, I think it's much better. Smoother with the terrain level set to 200 as opposed to 400. I have all the other items maxed out, so yeah, that could be it. Maybe I need to play with it a little bit. Latency. Let's see here. Latency is not bad, about 52 milliseconds, 47, between 46 and 52, which is not bad. Do you prefer flight factor over PMDG 777? Absolutely. Absolutely. If I were to pick between the two, the PMDG 777 and the 777 version 2 by flight factor, I'd definitely go for the flight factor version. Well, your latency is, if you hit on Alt-R and you have an NVIDIA card, you will get this overlay here. It says the FPS and then your GPU utilization, the temperature. You've got the clock here. You've got the voltage, and then you've got the RPM, and then you've got your CPU utilization, and you've got your latency here, right here. You can see it in 59. This last number here is your latency. Right, perfect. So, top of descent is in about 87 nautical miles from now, and everything is looking good here. How about we record our landing today, folks? Take a look at that. By the way, I tried FSLTL, and it works perfectly well in this version of Microsoft Flight Sim. A330 driver is great for tutorials, the rest not so much. The button is only for engine covers in 2020 version of the aircraft, so... He's kind of snarky. I find some of that off-putting. Well, I won't say anything. But I'll let you guys have a ball with that. Yeah, I've heard that as well. I've heard that Dougal as well, which is why I just don't want to. I just don't want to comment. Yeah, I'll leave it to you guys. Again, it's your right to decide who's your favorite content creator and who you want to watch. I do have my opinion, of course, but I'd like to keep it private. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, Alex. Yeah, you go ahead, my friend. You. All right. One of the content creators that I really like, I like listening to, I enjoy his tutorials, and I think very highly of, is V1 Simulations. I think his content is great. I think he is just a wonderful human being, and he is very, very knowledgeable. And the way he explains things is as if you're listening to an instructor in, at the university. He's got a really, really wonderful style when it comes to, tutorials or explaining things. Again, it gives, of course, a real-world captain perspective on add-ons. So I really like. I wish that he, I think he's starting to like explain again. So I'm very happy about that. And I've seen a couple of his. He's really been enjoying the Fearless 747 off late. So yeah, it's a real joy to watch him and listen to his experiences as a captain. I remember stream. It was like an absolute masterclass for free. Yes, for sure. V1 is amazing. Yes, he is. He was actually voted as the best content creator at FS Weekend. So, and it is a well-deserved title. And he deserves really all the commendation and all the respect from the community for everything that he does. Definitely an accomplished, aviation professional, a real world captain, and a very good friend of the channel. All right, 34,000. We are still cruising. Yeah, we're coming up to our, where is top of descent now, in 51 nautical miles. Let's take a quick look at the chart here for our platform altitude, which is 3,000 feet. Everything else will be set up automatically. Yeah, look, I hate those, you know, freezes and jitters in 2024. And this is, again, one of the reasons why I prefer X-Plane, by the way. It's a far more stable sim, even in its beta version. So, far more stable, far smoother, and doesn't really require changing settings. It's pretty much set and forget in X-Plane. But in Microsoft Flight Sim, there's always an issue, and things not loading, and just very intermittent, you know, CTDs. Just very unfortunate, really, for 2024. I don't understand why, but V1 jumps back on X-Plane 12, and a lot of people don't like it. All they care about is graphics. Yeah, well, you see, the average simmer, or, you know, the gamers are going to want to see beautiful graphics. That is absolutely understandable. And if you look today at the market, and you look at the audience that use X-Plane versus the audience that uses MSFS, you'll see that there is a tendency of MSFS to, or the audience, the larger majority of the audience of MSFS are Xbox players. And those are gamers at heart. Gamers want to see beautiful graphics, and there's no question about that, and there's nothing wrong about that. That's really what entices them. That's what motivates them. And being in a flight sim that looks as beautiful as Microsoft Flight Sim is something that they really care a lot about. In fact, it is a priority for them over, you know, flight model and, you know, accuracy and ground physics and things like that. When you look at the audience of X-Plane audience, generally speaking, they are more serious about aviation. They're more serious about how the aircraft flies, and they don't really care much about, you know, what the scenery looks like, for example, as long as, you know, a tree looks like a tree and a tree doesn't look like a car, you know. You know, it's, you know, I had to throw that in there just for the lack of a better term. But, yeah, I mean, the audience is very different. And that is completely understandable, and that is completely okay. Aircraft or one good flight model? I think both. So if you look actually at the, I think all hardcore simmers who only pay MSFS, and when V1 Sims plays X-Plane, they don't really understand what flight simulation is. They just want good graphics, but don't want to study the. Yeah, I mean that is also true sometimes. A fantastic channel for real world Airbus, worth checking it out. Yeah, thank you very much, Conrad. I appreciate it. Money makes the world go round, that's for sure. More sims we have, the better. Competition can only be good for everyone. I completely agree there with you, Dougal. We are spoiled for choice, and I will tell you, if it wasn't for Microsoft Flight Sim, I don't think Laminar would have really gone to such length to update the sim to where it is today. That is a fact. And again, they really cater for two different audiences. But there are some really excellent aircraft in Microsoft Flight Sim, just like there is in X-Plane. So P3D isn't dead, but sure isn't as big as when it was. Well, there are still a few people using P3D. So yeah, we can't say that it's completely dead, but I think what they've done with the last version of P3D was not, it left a lot of bitter taste in everyone's mouth. Every person who was, you know, a fan of P3D. the release and the way they've done it, and it doesn't really bring that much really in terms of improvements. So yeah. But P3D requires a lot of tweaking and such. Yeah, it is. Again, it is based on, the ESP platform. It is just really another FSX, but improved by Lockheed Martin. They purchased the license from Microsoft and decided to develop it. It was, by the way, used for training in some. I know there are a few academies that used to use P3D for training. So, all right, 4 nautical miles. Let's go ahead and go to 3,000 feet, which is our platform altitude, 1, 2, and 3. And we can, at the top of descent, begin the descent towards Düsseldorf, Germany. And yeah, so yeah, their approach to the last release wasn't correct. It was very clear that they just wanted to make really money and keep the platform live. So let's begin with the nav descent here. And that didn't sit well with a lot of folks in the community. There was a lot of hype. I don't think Lockheed Martin are interested in us. No, they're not. They're not. But when they decided to release, there was a lot of hype right before the release that they were going to use Unreal Engine, and that has really sparked a lot of interest in the community. What is this sim is going to look like with Unreal Engine? Because Unreal Engine is known for it's a very robust and very powerful graphics engine. We've seen a lot of games using Unreal Engine, and it is just the new version of Unreal Engine is totally unreal. It's really very, very good. So a lot of interest was sparked in the community about P3D and Unreal Engine, and then comes the shocker of all shockers when they released the version like a few months later, and the graphics weren't improved. The overall look of the sim was very dated, and that just didn't sit well with anyone, I think. They are after the commercial sim market, from what I see. Yeah. And they use it, I think, for military training. So I know there was an academy that used P3D exclusively for their training, and they used to train real-world military pilots on P3D. They had it set up on a simulator that like a full motion simulator, and I actually tried it. It's very, very good. So, but yeah. Right. Here's a look at the outside. Things are looking pretty nice. Again, you can't see the strobe lights unless you zoom in. Still can't see him. I wish we could turn off this glare shield. The lens flare is just really, really annoying. It's totally unrealistic, and it definitely takes a lot of FPS too. Well, not a lot of FPS, but it does consume FPS, and I just hate this feature. I wish I could turn it off. When was the last time you flew the Felis? Not too long ago, as a matter of fact. Yeah, maybe a couple of months, 3 months back. Well, I don't know, but it hasn't been that long, I don't think. But if you guys want me to fly the Felis again, I'm more than happy to do it. It's just an aircraft that requires a lot of time to set up. And maybe a Saturday stream would be okay on a day where, I don't have work. So, No problems pronouncing Düsseldorf here. Hopefully MSFS will release an update to allow players to toggle off the lens flare. I have no idea what the sub was thinking. Yeah, likewise. I really don't know why they have this. It's just really, really annoying. I don't like it. Right. So by the way, we are flying in real time, real weather today. So yeah, that also will give us a perspective on kind of the sky colors and the night lighting. Maybe we're not going to be able to see the night lighting with this time of day, but the sky colors in MSFS are quite nice. But I find them to be sometimes, in certain times of the day, very unrealistic. But overall, they're pretty nice, and the clouds are quite nice as well. But not all the time. Sometimes they look, again, okay. But most of the time they look great. Hotstar Challenger 650 has been my go-to ever since the release fiasco. X-Plane 12's new beta lighting is absolutely spectacular. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The entire sim is actually looking spectacular. If you look at the weather conditions when there is, for example, fog and there's mist in the air, you'll see that it is very well depicted in X-Plane 12. So the decoding of the METAR and the injection of the weather based on the METAR data is really done very, very well in the new version of X-Plane. That is without a doubt. Right, the transition altitude, I believe, is, what is it? Is it 6,000 feet? Let's take a look here. Alright, so on request it says. Huh. Do you guys know what is the transition altitude for Düsseldorf? Because there it's saying it's by request from ATC. So it is not included there on our arrival chart. Altimeter setting is hectopascals, but it says in on request. Transition level is by ATC. We have some funny looking things there, don't we? Let's go to plan real quick. Alright, let's go to flight plan. Wow, look at this funny stuff here. A funny departure and arrival today. But we can fly... I think what we can do, folks, is we can delete the DUS transition. How about we go back up and we'll delete this one here. Delete that. Delete that. And delete the discontinuity. And insert. Alright. And then we're going to go back to ARC. And that's better. 10,000. Let's turn on the landing lights. Right. And let's see. Brake to medium. We're going to arm our speed brakes. And we are going to actually use the speed brake to slow down the aircraft. There we go. Of course, guys, upon arrival, we are going to be taking a look at the airport, Düsseldorf, by Aerosoft. Yeah, we didn't need to put that transition in, I think. So we're just going to continue the descent now. Get that puppy down. Today in Germany is 5,000 feet. Depends on the QNH. For the current QNH, turn is 7,000. Swings to 6,000. Thank you very much, MC Crewfish, and welcome. Glad to have you with us this evening. All right, so we actually can look at the weather here. What is the weather? So 999, and we can go to, there we go, 999 is set. All right, we are looking good, guys, so no issues there. As to the 10 nautical mile ring, we'll have enough time to level off at 3,000 and configure the aircraft for the approach. Would you guys like to see a replay of the landing? What do you guys think? Should we do a replay of the landing? The starters are so noticeable. Are you on SU2? No, I'm not on SU2. By the way, I'm not having a lot of stutters here, but that's probably YouTube as well. But I'm fine there. But yeah, the iniBuilds isn't really, you know, that great in terms of performance. Right, I think we can bring this back. Let's see here. Let's arm the speed brakes. Excellent. And speed check, flaps 1. There's definitely a lot of jittering for sure. All right, and approach. All right, you guys want me to record, so let's record that. Where is FCR? All right, so we're going to say record. And there we go, recording. We'll put this here on the top.
2,500.
All right, we're looking good. And speed check, flaps 2, and landing gear coming down. I like this livery a lot. I think it looks pretty good. All right, speed check, flaps 3. And we're almost there now, folks. Let's reset our view. No blues. We are clear to land. Very nice clouds. And speed check, flaps full. Very nice wing view there. Right, we'll disconnect at 1,000 feet. It took us about 50 minutes from takeoff to landing, about 51, maybe 51 minutes. right, and let's see here. Yeah, I do think that I don't know if it's the frames or the jitters, stuttering. I don't know what the deal is today. But maybe I'll have a look at the settings a little later.
1,000.
All right, 1,000. Let's disconnect the autopilot and my aircraft. And of course, with the iniBuilds, you want to make very slight changes because it's really so touchy. So I'm going to try to minimize the input on my yoke. The slightest,
500.
Input will just make the aircraft roll.
$400. 300. 200. 100, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20,
Retard.
10, 5.
And ladies and gents, welcome to Düsseldorf, Germany. Reverse green. I can barely see the speed tape there. All right, we've made it. And we'll take a look at the replay of our landing, and then we're going to also take a look at the airport. I'll show you some of the nice features that Aerosoft has brought into this rendition of Düsseldorf or Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. And yeah, you can definitely see the jittering there. Alright, I'm just going to bring the aircraft to a stop here, and let's go ahead and take a look at the replay. So we're going to say stop the recording here, and then we are going to say play. Okay, now it's going to show us all kinds of
2,500.
warnings.
1,000.
Yeah, there we go. Alright. Alright, let's take a look. Those sky colors are sensational. Very, very nice. Well, what do you guys think? I think it was pretty cool. Not bad. Yeah, the clouds do look very, very nice indeed. We can do another... I'll do another one for you guys with the wing view. Let's see here. There you go. Again, for your viewing pleasure. And the clouds do look just sensational. Definitely lots of jittering there with the replay. And some of the animations don't show, I suppose, with the during the replay. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Say stop, you have control. Alright, we have control. That's fine. Alright, let's not get carried away with the views. And you know what? We'll just go and park the aircraft somewhere over there. It's just closer, and then we'll take a look at the airport. I wonder why, you know, we're getting so many jitters and stuttering and all that today. Maybe I just need to... I don't think this is the right position there. That's strange. So we'll just come over here. And you'll immediately notice how beautiful the airport buildings are. In this version. Very, very nice. The aircraft doesn't want to stop. Please stop, stop, stop. You need to stop. Alright. I'm not sure what went wrong there. But we went into the jetway. Let me set the parking brake here. And APU bleed. And we can turn off the engines. Alright, let me try one thing here. So I want to come to settings, and I know that I fiddled around with this, so I'm just going to say Ultra and confirm that. And let's say save and back and resume. Maybe this is better. I don't know. No, still something is definitely off. I think it's probably the aircraft, because I used to be just fine in terms of performance. Well, anyway, let's go to... no, that's not what I wanted to do. We wanted X. There we go. Okay. No, that's... Alright, there we go. Excellent. Yeah, definitely lots of jittering and stuttering, but let's take a quick look here at the airport. All right, so here is Düsseldorf by Aerosoft. Very, very nice rendition of the airport. As you can see, the layout, the ground markings, and the overall ambience is just really done to perfection by Aerosoft. The airport looks really nice. The reflections there, the baked textures. The stands, the aircraft stands are all looking really, really good. I really like what they've done here. And again, I'm basing my my review of what I know about this airport. I've seen a lot of pictures of Düsseldorf. I haven't been to the airport in real life, But if there's anyone with us here from Germany and has been to Düsseldorf, can probably let us know how accurate this is. And you can see again here the people. Again, you've seen this, I think, in MSFS. You've got the taxi rank here. You've got the tram moving over there. And you have also the interior of the airport with folks lining up there for check-in. Very, very nicely done airport by Aerosoft. I'm not a big fan of interiors. Again, I don't normally look at the interiors, but this one has them. If you're a fan of like detailed interiors, then this one definitely has it. Definitely for those of you who create videos, this is going to be something that you really appreciate. So yeah, it's got some of the buildings, of course, have, some of them don't. So here the parking lot, let's see, maybe not, the parking lot is empty. So we'll go back up. There is the Sheraton Hotel here. Again, nicely done. And that's the Düsseldorf Airport Hotel. Nice. Again, you can see even the green there, the little plants that they have on top are there. And if you go to the other terminals, you'll see that they are also modeled just like the main terminal there. So let me come over here and we'll go inside these terminals. Maybe not that one, but I know that probably this one here is, or is it the next one? I'm not sure which one it was, but I'm sure that I've seen other, was it that one? Yeah, probably that one there. So that's the main terminal, but those extensions there also are modeled. So let's go inside here and take a look. Yeah, I think you can see it again. You can see the window here. You can see the folks there coming here. There we go. All right, so here are people waiting at the gate for their flights, which is, again, pretty cool. It's really, really nicely done. Some really nice details of the different terminal buildings there at Düsseldorf. Very, very nice work overall by Aerosoft of this airport. Looks really good. And I don't know why I have traffic turned off, so I think this is static aircraft, probably. I don't know why we have, but I have. That's because I turned the ultra preset. That's why. Very, very nice overall rendition of the airport, as you can see here. And the overall just look and feel of the airport is done quite nicely. Yep, if you like to fly in Germany, this is definitely an airport that I recommend. It's a really, really nice airport, very well developed, and it covers a very large area of Düsseldorf Airport. I think everything is modeled there to recreate an accurate rendition of the airport. You've got the control tower here as well, and not sure what this building is here, but again, you can see that it's very nicely. It looks like some sort of a parking lot or something. Yeah, but yeah, overall, very nice rendition of the airport. And there you have it, ladies and gents. Aerosoft Düsseldorf for Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this this live stream. I definitely enjoyed being with you guys. On Saturday, we are going to be taking a look at a brand new general aviation bonanza for X-Plane 12. The guys over at the SimCoders and the developer of the aircraft have reached out to me for feedback. In fact, they wanted to give me a copy of the aircraft to showcase on the channel, but by the time they've reached out, I had already purchased the aircraft, and I will tell you that I like everything SimCoders. I like the Reality Expansion Pack, but I'm going to save the rest for our full review stream on Saturday of the Bonanza by SimCoders, powered by SimCoders. So we'll take a look at that. I'm a Bonanza pilot, so I look forward to it. Excellent, excellent. That's that's incredibly good news because we have a real-world pilot who is going to give us his thoughts as to how well that aircraft is. Now, the actual product page indicates, in fact, let me very quickly show you guys the product page of the Bonanza here, the one I'm talking about. So it's the PAE Beechcraft Bonanza, this one here. It's powered by the Reality Expansion Pack. It sells for $45, and they indicate here that this is a study level aircraft, a study level rendition of the real world Bonanza. So this is coming up this coming Saturday, so stay tuned for that. And this is a stream that you guys really don't want to miss. It's going to be a lot of fun, so be sure to stay tuned for more information on the schedule and the time for the stream. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and have a wonderful evening or day wherever you are in the world. Bye for now.